Hello, this is Alan from the Makona Man at YouTube with another model review. Today, unboxing, building and reviewing the Arii 1100 VF-1J Super Valkyrie gerwalk mode 15th anniversary edition from 1995. Elements of the tooling dates back to the 80s. Unboxing containing 8 runners including poly caps and waterslide decals with instructions. An isometric mess of a comic layout with squiggly lines and very fine Japanese missing steps. On the surface looks fine but gives me a lot of trouble. The kit is injection molded in white styrene with articulation points intended, requiring glue to assemble. A bonus 1/20th figure is included, which is a gotcha lucky chance of several characters, which has been removed by the original owner. We'll be building this with a modern take. The instructions recommend pre-painting everything on the runners and post-gluing. I personally will be taking the approach of assembling first, filling seam lines, cutting the nubs twice and sanding back, primer to check any imperfections and painting it much later on, which will be a different set of challenges with a better result. Nothing presented is particularly difficult. Can be tedious and require patience. Not something that can be achieved in a single day with decent results. Arii is a confusing and messy story and brand. Starting in the late 60s and being acquired by Micro Ace in the 2000s. It differs to other Japanese brands not specifying in anything and being very inconsistent in quality and build. Aircraft, military cars, we know it mostly for its sci-fi licenses. Like the likes of Revell, it has acquired more tooling from many other brands that went bankrupt from the early stage of Japanese kits history like Itto, not knowing who produced what. It is also located in Satsuma outside of the usual Shizuoka collective of the big main brands. Like the brand, this kit is iconic, not quite right and conflicted in what it wants to be, yet very much loved. With layers of recycled tooling and concepts, it does not know if it wants to be an aircraft, vintage mecha suit, or something original which impacts in its build process. At the start, in 1 minute, I'm putting together a cockpit, canopy and wings, while starting with the armaments. As we go, it kicks in with some polycaps to attach the arms and legs, yet it has knuckle components articulating the upper to lower arms. Reaching into traditional methods we'll use for 70s, 80s mecha kits such as Gundam, Zabungle and Ideon. Proportions are chunky, detail is a bit plain but extremely deep, allowing for hand painting to be applied. Many gimmicks and point of articulation play, yet hair triggering fragile with very thin long pegs that goes into tiny, not quite adequate polycaps. The big issues I've come across besides the build order was breakages, which I was unsure if related to the age and quality of the plastic, followed by the many layers of seam lines, and lastly gaps in the instructions and building process, going from a body to a complete assembly with components and steps completely missing. Some parts reshaping and filling greater than 2 to 3 mil was required, including improvise and scratch build components to prop up optional and extra parts. Borrowed tooling was thrown in. It was a challenge, but not necessarily broken, and quite fun. With a classic trope going that friends don't recommend friends to build Arii. With its unique inaccurate proportions, many are nostalgic and do love it in their collection. All drawn into heavy line art, action, pastel-y, watercoloured, smooth box art that makes it very appealing at an extremely low price upon release and re-release. It was a pain and a lot of fun. These models are pretty rare, but were highly manufactured back in the day and even re-released over the years. Plenty can be found in the second-hand market. They do fetch fairly high prices unless compromised or damaged box, which is my case. Acquired it in Japan from a mandarake for around $20 as a gift for a friend to do a challenge of really hard to make bad models in December. He returned it after taking the figure and asked me to finish it as a commission. He also wanted it in a black stealth color scheme. It is a holy grail kit. I don't have one in my collection and was very happy to build it for him. Once assembled and panel lines filled, sanded back, I coated everything in a etch primer to look for any imperfections or issues, refilled the seams, sanded it and primed a second time. The painting stage, I'm using automotive lacquer paints from a local car manufacturer, thinned down with automotive lacquers and sprayed through a airbrush with low PSI. Starting with a pre-shade, lighting everything up with black paint and using 2 to 3 shades of very dark grey and blue, getting various different tones. Like any Star Wars trope, and I made the same observation with a lived-in universe such as Star Wars, with very detailed art, it's hard to pin a colour scheme. Pure white or US military aircraft is not quite right, and there's a big difference between the modern and vintage anime. The new Hasegawa kit does have decent colour guides. If I was to do a light colour, I would have mixed various washes, filters and light shading candies. The styrene runners did not reflect this. Colour separation was also non-existent. Some parts needed to be masked and hand painted. Finding reference material online was also very limiting, which is a surprise for something as huge as Macross. Details is tricky with a unique colour scheme, not a huge deal. The water slide decals was also a huge issue. Went through the usual affair of pre-cutting using a decal tray and water with 5, 15, a few hours and overnight soaking. They were absolutely dry and petrified, were unable to move, and the little that could get moving tore up, leading to needing to hand paint as much of that as possible as time was running out and I didn't have access to aftermarket decals. It was further highlighted with clear black to blend it all in. Did the best I could, applied a black sludge wash to fall into the detail panels and add definition, allowing that to dry and finishing up with a matte coat for that satin luster. The canopy was glued in with PVA and the edges were hand painted. The rifle was done in a series of gunmetal and oxidized steels and coppers. Thrusters similar, but more of a build-up of the coppers. Those aspects were glossed as well. Concluding this gambit of a project, but also felt like it is a journey of passage for anyone who enjoys, collects and builds vintage mecha model kits. Outside of the Zentradi machines, the gerwalk is one of the most iconic and really cool sought after designs everybody would love have in a model, and with those really chunky arms and hands, it looks incredibly cute, fun and interesting if you can meet all the various challenges that it shall throw at you. Can I recommend acquiring this? If the aesthetic is appealing and everything in the video does it for you, definitely. For something similar, you can blow up a MechWarrior 3D model and run it out in resin for similar appeal. This concludes the video. Big thank you to Mr. Warhammer Melbourne for allowing me to build your model. I was very keen to do so. Thank you very much to everyone for watching. Stay tuned for further content. Please check out the description section down below for references and more information about the history of models and model brands. ScaleMate and Fandom Wiki has a lot of information that's collected from various instructions and boxes among the community. My social media links cover events and galleries of these finished models, including some other projects and occasionally work in progresses. Catch you later and see you next time. We try to upload weekly. Bye.